And I am live from the Tortoise Room. And today, this is an unscheduled live, but I want to take some time to chat with you about the future direction of my channel and where my channel could go. I would love to know if you often watch my channel. Let me know. Let me know what you think. I've got my trusty iPad here, and if this works out, perhaps we can do this more often. So this is just kind of a hangout live. Welcome, and I really want to know what you want to see from my channel. What should the future be? I'm looking right now. That's right, Dan. A morning video. I'm trying something new, live from the Tortoise Room, and I really just want to talk about my channel and ask for ideas. Where should I go with all of this? I started this channel originally as Hingeback Tortoise Central, and I primarily concentrated on Hingeback tortoises. And then like in the fall of 2022, I changed the name to Turtle Tom. And once I did that, Dan, that's when the channel really started taking off. And I'm up to over 5,000 subscribers now, and I've done lots of different types of content. I will tell you, in the past year, I've driven this channel primarily by shorts. That's how the channel grows as far as the number of subscribers, and then kind of getting me to making a little bit of money to help offset the costs of all of this is the lives. The lives Thursday nights have been really good. And so right now I'm thinking about what should I do on this channel. So tell me, what kind of videos do you want to see? Who do you want me to talk to? What do you think some of the challenges in the turtle keeping world are? Or do you just not care? You just want to see my turtles and not much else. So put that in the chat. Let me know what you're thinking. Yeah, so Dan says he thinks more people getting into it. And what else on YouTube that niche becomes, and YouTube can identify turtle videos. So really, the more we grow, it's actually the better. Like, just okay. I tried to reconnect. Hopefully this will work. The router is upstairs. I'm in the basement, so I'm like 3 or 2.5 floors away. Ty, welcome. Ty, thanks for joining. Today I just wanted to talk about the future of my channel on YouTube. Ty, how long have you watched my videos? What do you like that I do? And same question to Dan. Dan, do you like my shorts? Do you like the lives? What about the long form videos? I will tell you, the long form videos are the hardest, take the most work, have the most potential, but are the hardest to reach that potential. It is hard to find that right mix of what people that are on YouTube really want, right? And so that's my question. That's why we're here. I would love to know your opinions, your thoughts. Are you brand new to this channel? Did you just get recommended this in YouTube's feed? Or have you been watching for a while? This channel started off as Hingeback Tortoise Central, and then I broadened the channel. I do a live every Thursday night at 8 o'clock where I bring on someone interested in turtles. Often we talk about turtle and tortoise keeping, but we could expand. Would you like to see more research? Would you like to learn more about conservation? Or do you really just are you really just interested in seeing what it's like keeping a large collection of turtles and tortoises. So Amber, welcome. If you're brand new, I have a channel that I've been working on since 2019. Originally, I focused on hingeback tortoises. I love turtles and tortoises, but we also have lizards here, chameleons, bearded dragons. We just got a green anole. So Amber, do tell me what you're interested in. Are you interested in herpetoculture? Do you keep reptiles and amphibians? Have you ever heard of the word herpetoculture? One of the things that I think we could really touch on, but I don't know how popular it is, and I don't know what format I should do this in, but that is the question of, is turtle keeping conservation? Can it be conservation? Does it even matter? Should I just stay away from that topic? Are you interested in the personalities of the turtles? Everybody has a little story, and I try to show the individuality in those turtles and tortoises. So Dan says that's such a touchy topic, conservation. But Dan, I want to keep doing that. We're going to explore that. My podcast on, the podcast that I help Ryan Dumas with, Let's Talk Turtles, which is a audio only podcast, we're gonna go down that path. We're gonna go down that path and start exploring how can private turtle keepers contribute to conservation. Absolutely. Aaron Pinto is here. Yo, welcome, Aaron. Welcome to my channel. I have a relatively small channel of about 5,000, and I love turtles and tortoises, and it's all about turtles and tortoises. Specifically, I keep this type of tortoise called the hingeback tortoise, and if you're wondering what this is, excuse me, KWG stands for the Conyxis Working Group, and Conyxis are hingeback tortoises. And they come from Africa. They're kind of small. I'm sitting in a room with the tortoises, lots of tortoises here. And I have a channel where I kind of explore what I'm doing with hingeback tortoises. So, Aaron, are you into reptile and amphibian keeping? Let me know. What do you keep? To kind of tell you guys what I keep 4 different species of hingeback tortoises. I also, behind me right there, we have baby Greek, the Anamurensis Greek tortoise that I'm raising up. I also have 1 adult male Speaks hingeback. Those are from Southeast Africa. Think Kruger National Park. There's actually photos of the Speaks hingeback kind of crawling around amongst lions. Yes, that's the kind of tortoise that crawls around with lions in Kruger National Park. I also have 1 of the Bell's hingebacks. These hingebacks are kind of from East Central Africa, Uganda, Kenya, Ethiopia, and then also south of the Congo River, down into Angola even. I love turtles and tortoises. Let me know what you keep as a pet. Put it in the chat. My buddy Dan from Dan's Turtle Room is here. I do a weekly live where I bring on a guest every Thursday night, and that's been really fun. But should I continue that? Let me know. Interviews are hit and miss, I will tell you that. I try to bring a good variety of guests onto that show, and I try to have engaging and interesting people. So that's Thursday nights. I used to do at least 2 shorts a day, and if you could give me a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. I used to do 2 shorts a day, and then I got sick, okay? I had pneumonia. It was all I could do to take care of the animals and not much else. I'm in a period where I'm really thinking about how I should go forward. Do you like my shorts? So Amber says she has a dog, cat, and a squirrel. Oh, that's interesting. That's definitely an interesting exotic pet. That's awesome. I mean, I personally, we have a dog. We have a pug, and his name is Max. That is our only mammal pet that lives in this house. So I'm in my turtle and tortoise room. Thank you for stopping by. This is where I breed two species of hingeback tortoises. Dan says he enjoys the weekly guests. Questions usually come up with the interview, however, I've been unable to stay for the whole lives with my work schedule. Yeah. So, understood, Dan. I have that typical sort of 8 to 5 kind of job, so that live fits in well with me. But if this works, and so what YouTube has done, they have rolled out a new feature for lives. So if you're doing a vertical live from your phone, what they'll do is automatically put that in the shorts shelf or areas where YouTube shorts are. So most of the people probably here are joining me from the YouTube Shorts channel, and thank you so much for coming. I'm really interested in hearing what you like on YouTube. What do you like to watch? Do you like product reviews? Are you looking for species reviews of what kind of turtle or tortoise or lizard that you might want to have for a pet? We also have a leopard gecko. So, I could do videos on leopard geckos and bearded dragons. I'm probably not, but, maybe that's something I could go into. I've tried to expand the content. I've tried to specialize in content that, maybe not everybody is doing. But when you do that, it's a pretty small niche. So, Dan says, I was amazed at how many people keep turtles and all the people that you have brought on so far. It's a small niche, but it's still a lot of people out there. Yeah. Just think about how many there truly are, Dan. The Turtle and Tortoise Preservation Group is kind of a loose band of people that raise and breed turtles and tortoises. I wish it was a bit more organized. I think they're missing some opportunities to kind of coordinate and have people work together. But they hold an annual conference each year, which is really well attended. And many of the members that I have had on my show have been Turtle and Tortoise Preservation Group members, but some haven't. And part of my goal for the next year is to kind of expand what I do. I am the kind of person that likes to learn. I like to explore. And I keep turtles and tortoises as pets, but I'm also a conservationist, right? I spend more of my time thinking about conserving plants and animals in the wild than I do on keeping turtles and tortoises. And so I have a big interest in that. And, I personally like to think that we can bridge the gap between conservation and private turtle keeping. But we have to change. We have to do some things differently. And I think we can do that. But we just need to work together to get there. So thanks for joining me. If you're new here, please do tell me what kind of pets you keep and what kind of pet or animal YouTube videos you like to watch. I have a channel. I have fish. I have lizards. I have a turtle and tortoise breeding project. And I can make all kinds of videos. I just love being creative. I love teaching and I love sharing information with you. And so this is your opportunity to really let me know what you like. How can I best make videos? Do you like kind of more thoughtful videos where we discuss topics? Do you want fun videos? Are you looking for entertainment and you want to laugh? I'm funny. I can be. I try not to be. I'm kind of a sarcastic person in general. My sense of humor is quite sarcastic, especially for a Midwesterner. But I could do that. One of the ideas that I've had for a video is to go through stock photos of turtles and tortoises and provide commentary on those photos. There's some pretty bad stock photography out there. Um, so that's one idea I've had. So please welcome. If you keep pets, let me know what pet you keep in the chat. Let me know what kind of pet videos you have. Do you like wildlife? I also could make lots of different videos going out and exploring natural habitats. I love doing that. In fact, before really, the pandemic, guys, kind of got me really on the herpetoculture or herpetoculture bandwagon, right? Before that, I wasn't doing those things a lot. I was mostly going outside and exploring nature. So, regarding conservation, Dan says it's trying to bridge that gap in understanding from both sides in conservation and coming to the middle. Yep, and Dan, I tell you, I feel stuck right in that middle, and nobody's with me. I feel like I have a pretty unique viewpoint when it comes to this, and I certainly get frustrated in general when I'm not able to quickly kind of bring people along with me. But my basic thesis is that I think there's lots of potential for the private turtle and tortoise keeper to be a part of what I would call ex situ, so out of the wild conservation of turtles and tortoises. I think that a lot of people think they're doing that now, but I think there's some very specific criteria that one could sort of use as a guideline to really kind of do a self examination of what they're doing. And you don't have to work for government or a nonprofit agency to be a conservationist. I can tell you there's thousands and millions of people across this country that see themselves as conservationists and they don't work for government or a nonprofit agency. And quite frankly, as someone that worked in government for 22 years in conservation, I see how we would put on blinders and just say, if it's not government, it doesn't really matter. And now that I'm outside of government, I think I can look at that a little bit differently. So that is kind of the in-depth look at conservation and preservation, and I really want to explore it more. The question is, will people truly be interested? Or like you said, Dan, this is a really hard topic. It kind of rattles their core. It makes them feel somewhat uncomfortable, and it's very easy for them to tune away when we have those types of discussions. So, my name's Tom. Two Turtle Tom is my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me. I'm here to talk about the channel. I would love to know if you're new here. Shout yourself out. Where are you from? Do you keep reptiles and amphibians as pets? Do you keep turtles as pets? Are you a professional conservationist? Let me know. This is an opportunity for us to get to know each other a little bit better, and to really for you to tell me where you'd like my channel to go. Because I'm open. I'm not really sure. Do I keep doing shorts? Do I put 2 shorts out a day? Are those helpful? Bathy Phila, welcome. Yeah, thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming to the live. This is a little different time. And so what we're talking about today is my channel. I'd love to know what you think of my channel. Do you watch my videos? What do you like about them? What would you like me to see? What would you like to see me do in the future? Is it more shorts? Do you like this kind of conversation? Do you like my Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern live interviews? Can you watch those live? Are you not? So yeah, Bathyphila, tell me what pets what do you keep? Do you breed anything? Um, in general, I work with hinchback tortoises, and I have fish and some other things. So um, we're also talking about conservation today in private turtle keeping, and Dan says some conservationists don't believe anyone should keep uh, threatened or endangered species, snake or whatever you keep. So Dan, I mean the AZA, the American uh, Zoological Association, which is the accrediting body of zoos in this country, has a website called notapet.net where they are specifically um, recommending that turtles not be pets. Straight up. I mean, this is the American Zoological Association. Um, Turtles should not be pets of any kind at all because of wildlife trafficking. So if you go to notapet.net, you can learn about that. And quite frankly, this is concerning. Yes, we can't have reptiles and amphibians being trafficked. I mean, that's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. But can we? Are we capable of having reptiles and amphibians as pets without them being poached and trafficked? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so I think personally, the American Zoological Association's attempt to have people sign a pledge not to put your exotic pet on social media is misguided. I mean, it basically is trying to shame people for having an exotic pet. And then I think they also they do this legal analysis, and they personally I think they overstate how many states have restrictions on exotic pets, and like they say Ohio doesn't allow exotic pets, which is just bullcrap. We have a licensing procedure for native wildlife, and it's great. So Greg's Turtle Haven is here. Greg, how's it going? I asked myself the future of the channel daily, 50-50 on or continuing or giving up. And so Greg, yeah, absolutely. It's hard. I've grown this channel to 5,000, but you know, if you don't really have a strong why, it's really hard to keep going on YouTube. And so my why started as keeping hinchback tortoises and sharing videos so other people could become confident in keeping and breeding hinchback tortoises. And I think I've done that pretty well. I can continue to do that. And I'm starting to see the benefits, you know, of doing that. 3 or 4 years after I produced all of these videos, I now see people raising hinchback tortoises and breeding them and keeping them in the same 110-gallon tubs that I use in very similar setups. So I mean, that's awesome. So, but you know, Greg, what I've tried to do is do these lives. The lives are really interesting. This is the first time I've tried to do a vertical live, but YouTube started this new thing where they'll show vertical lives in the shorts feed, and that will get people kind of coming in constantly. We've got about 7 people now. You know, fluctuates pretty widely. So that's something to try. The live show is a lot of work. Lining up guests is a ton of work, and then producing videos. As you know, Greg's a pro. He is a professional content creator, photographer, videographer. To produce those finished products that might only get a couple hundred views, it's a lot of time. A lot of time. So Bathyphila says, I keep and breed a lot of fish outdoors over the summer, including some endangered species of Gudaids and killifish. Awesome. Just getting into turtles. Started with a European pond turtle about 18 months ago. That's awesome. I love fish too. As you know, I put out a fish video this week. So, do I consider my tortoises pets? Some I do, some no. So, baby Greek is a family pet, absolutely. The painted turtle that we have upstairs, absolutely a family pet. My fish tank, pets. The hingeback work, I see that as a breeding project. I do my best to give them what I call pet level care, not breeder care. But if I had to go back down to them as pets, I would have 4 animals. And so for me, this is an educational project. I do think that my work here is conservation. I am working with a species and sharing more information about that species on a daily basis than anybody is in the entire world. We talk about the habitats, what they're eating, how to reproduce them. To me, that's absolutely conservation. I know some people would beg to differ. I could do more educational content about it, and but bottom line, I mean, if these tortoises, if someone decides they're critically endangered, and that already has happened for Homiana, and we need to start doing ex situ conservation at zoos, which is happening, I've got the information and the data and the videos to show you how to do this. Just like any propagation effort, like in the propagation world, in the plant world, we are looking for rare plants and trying to figure out how to make more of them. In the case when sometimes you can't figure out how a plant reproduces, and sometimes you have to use interesting new techniques. That stuff gets published. I've done the same thing. I've published in the Badager how my Western Hingeback tortoise breeding operation works. And so it's a project. I view it as conservation. I collaborate, I educate, and then I publish. And so those are some of the things that I do that I think can make a private individual turtle breeding effort be conservation. So that's me on my little soapbox there for a little bit. I would love to know what you guys think. I would love to know what type of videos you would like me to make. What do you think of Turtle YouTube? We've got Greg here from Greg's Turtle Haven. Greg produces awesome content. I love it. Greg, maybe we could collab again some way. Greg is one of those people that is also doing in situ conservation along with ex situ conservation. Greg does educational programs using his turtles that he's keeping, and he's a private individual. And then he also does in situ conservation work, collecting scientific data on alligator snapping turtles in the multiple places in the southeastern U.S. And so those are the kinds of things that can make private turtle keeping be conservation. Breeding, documenting, recording data. So Bathy Phyllis says, I have mixed thoughts about animal hobbyists calling keeping endangered species conservation. There's definitely a case to be made that the private sector helps raise awareness. Yeah, and so, this is absolutely the question, because I could argue that the private keeping and breeding of turtles at a large scale, sort of unregulated and unmanaged, is a form of conservation at the very highest level. We are literally conserving these species in an ex situ conservation manner. It's kind of like if you look at economic theory, it's like the basic economic solution of laissez-faire capitalism. People see something they like, and the market is regulating that. So, Bathy Phyllis says, but the idea that private keepers are acting as a reservoir isn't very realistic. To use an example from the Goodeiid side, yes, do. Let's talk about fish. Absolutely share with us. Um, uh, Greg says, I think turtle keeping, especially early on, is the gateway to working with species in all aspects. Wild in situ conservation as well as captive breeding. I'm all for responsible keeping. Me too, Greg. Me too. And one of the things I really like about your channel and Chris Leone's channel is that wild turtles are a big part of those channels. Now, Chris's work and Casey's work with the Diamondback terrapin is really interesting. Okay, so let's talk about fish and Bathyphylas, which is that a fish genus? Bathyphyla. We're talking about rare species breeding on the fish side. So Goodeiid hobbyists will tout that a couple species extirpated in the wild have been reintroduced from captive populations. Yes, we want to hear more about this. So keep telling, because we say the same thing often in the turtle and tortoise community, right? This is the kind of stuff we does it justify us keeping turtles and tortoises and adding yet another species, right? Are we just are we just kind of making excuses for having 1,000 turtles? I don't have 1,000, but I have 40, and I mean that's nothing compared to some of the big ones. So yeah, do tell us about the Goodeiid and what's going on with fish. Dan says turtles take a lot longer to get reestablished into areas that may have once been found. Absolutely, I think that's one of the. It's a challenge for turtle and tortoises, but it's one of the things that make captivity and private keeping somewhat useful for conservation. That's a weak statement if I've ever heard one. But because turtles are long lived, if an animal were extirpated in the wild and we still have founder populations, we can go in captivity. We can go to those animals that were exported, do DNA work, kind of compare what we have, and potentially start to reassemble a population with these what we call founder animals. So, Little Shrugs, welcome, Little Shrugs. We're talking pets and we're talking conservation today and the future of my channel. Conservation is something that I feel passionate about, and I really discussing whether or not conservation and turtle keeping are compatible. Okay, so Bathyphyla is talking about Goodeids, which are this little colorful species of fish. Bathyphyla says Goodeiid hobbyists will tout that a couple species extirpated in the wild have been reintroduced from captive populations, but they follow up and say, however, those reintroductions were not from stock kept by private hobbyists, but rather from public aquariums and academic collections. So no problem for the multiple messages, absolutely. Okay, Greg. Greg is saying he is working on a repatriation program with his state for Apalachicola alligator snapping turtles. The big thing is having the oversight from the state government in hand with the care. Generally, the AZA-approved facilities are those who the government entitles deem approved. But as we know, there are private keepers who specialize and can do this well or better. Absolutely, Greg. I could not have said it better. Yes. And so that's the opportunity. And I think that's really well said. Bathy Phyllis says most private collectors don't do the kind of record keeping or localities proving they haven't produced hybrids. Absolutely, record keeping is key. And if I end up writing an article or book about this, yeah, we have to work together to manage these populations, even in a private setting. Now, that doesn't mean you have to send your turtle to someone, but collaboration is key. Record keeping is key. Managing a population is key. If it's going to be conservation, in my opinion, we do have to manage the populations because, like I said earlier, ultimately I can make this argument that all breeding is conservation at some level in captive keeping. It's all it does is ensures that we have captive populations that will be selected upon based on humans, and so in 1,000 years we'll have domestic turtles, and no one would release a dog into the wild and say, "Oh, I'm returning wolves." We can do it, but that's a little far-fetched. So yeah, Greg, I really like your thoughts on that. So I keep an open mind, and I'm searching, I'm exploring. I want to talk to other people that feel somewhat in the middle. I'm a professional conservationist. Like I said earlier, that's what I do. That is my head space for most of my life and my day. And things like being very selective in the species that you work with, breeding animals, and obtaining knowledge about species that we just don't have very much information, and really dedicating yourself to that taxa for a long, long time is very helpful. There's certainly a big need out there for people to just home turtles that don't have homes. I don't think that's potentially conservation unless you use it for educating people about turtles in the wild. So, good conversation. So I'll tell you, I'm kind of thinking about doing this every Sunday morning, maybe like at 11 or Eastern or 10 Eastern. At noon, my buddy Kevin, the tortoise guy, kicks off his live. So look for the tortoise guy. Kevin runs a sanctuary out east, or out west rather, in California. Bathy Phil, I definitely appreciate you being here. Bathy Phyllis says, yeah, I agree that a lot of the stuff the AZA calls conservation is really dubious conservation value. At the end of the day, a zoo's first goal is bringing in people and keeping the lights on. Yeah, absolutely. And, I work for the plant equivalent of a zoo. And I will tell you, I'm the curator, so I'm the last man standing. And my former CEO, would always tell me, you're the last man standing. Dan says, next Sunday's daylight savings. He hates daylight savings. Are you kidding me? I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that at all. So, well, friends, I hope you enjoyed this. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching. And, these are the deep thoughts kind of conversations. And I appreciate you guys processing this stuff with me. Greg says putting butts in the seats, as they say, in entertainment. Absolutely. So, good discussion. There's no black or white here. It's gray, and we'll work together and keep figuring it out. I appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your Sunday. See ya Thursday night. Aaron Johnson will be joining us live. Hey, Mike, I'm just signing off. Check out the recording. I'm thinking about this a lot. thinking about this a lot, and let's just keep talking. So I'm signing off. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Dan.